that's part of it too. We knew you guys had something really cool bubbling, so we're like, oh,
I had no idea.
no, it
But
was.
you didn't say anything.
I didn't actually know it was dropping until it dropped.
Yeah.
Oh shit, really? You
So-
woke up one day. You're
Quick
like,
I was like, I should
intros,
probably drop this now.
Yo, quick intros real quick. So Locke, Chloe, introduce
Yeah.
yourselves real quick.
My name's Locke.
Nice.
My name is Chloe.
okay, cool. What do you guys do?
Yeah.
I'm a stylist. I'm also a student. I'm going to be graduating soon. I'm studying advertising. I feel like it's always hard to answer the question because you do a little bit of everything. Like,
Yeah.
you
I didn't know
know?
you were doing advertising.
I know. I just told no. I was asking Norby like, oh, he said he's coming from work. I'm like, what'd you do? Like, what's your job? He's like, I'm a strategist. I'm like, I want to be a strategist when I grow up. In like in
I wanna
2
be Chloe when I
months.
grow
Like,
up. That's
yeah.
One sentence. Slap the decade on your head in one sentence.
I probably haven't
Sorry.
taken on you though, so it's not
I
even.
mean,
What about you, Locke?
I make clothes. And, I kind of work in the intersection of like music and fashion design. Not making music by any means. I've tried that. I have to rest that dream.
We gotta talk about that.
But I love working with musicians like yourself and you guys on the design side and like kind of bring the visual side to life. But then also making clothes and making things that are fun.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Crazy. Mooks actually mentioned that you made a little bit of music too, or you tried, or you are trying. I don't know exactly what
Yeah,
Mook
you
said,
are
but-
trying, or you tried and
I
and did
tried, and then I realized I was just wasting my time because
Damn.
It's crazy. I feel like that too.
I was
Yeah,
like,
very-
Tell
I don't-
me about that.
I think I would actually start to make music when like maybe in my 60s. Like I would just tap in
Wow.
music at that time.
oh, once you hit 60?
Once I don't have to pay bills and stuff, because I
Yeah.
don't think I can generate
dude,
an income off
so true.
of music.
Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Products feels like it's like a very transactional. Like here's a product, it costs
You
this
can
X
attach some
amount.
value to it. You can justify the cost.
Well, I mean, music has a lot of value. I think music is the glue to a lot of like the artistic or arts industry. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the problem with music is you just can't measure the growth of music really.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
And you can price it arbitrarily because the
Yeah.
format you deliver changes like constantly.
Yeah, it's
So interesting. Yeah, that is true though.
because I don't know. I get lost in it. Like when I was making music, and I wouldn't even say it's music. I was like putting sounds together,
I was gonna
Pretty
ask you,
much
what
music.
music were you making? Was it like instrumental music?
like ambient. I wrote a little bit.
Okay. Are
was
you gonna
great.
sneak peek after this interview?
Oh no,
No.
I'm not sending it to you.
You
There's
won't
no,
leak it.
It's
right?
not
You
bad.
can trust it.
Let's leak it. Let's leak it.
it's gonna be playing right now.
Yeah, French exclusive.
Yeah, commercial break.
That's it. How long ago was that?
Started like height of COVID when I had a lot of time, and I was like, oh, I can finally make music guilt free. But then life started happening, and I feel guilty every time I make music.
Oh, dude, I have the exact
I'm
same.
like,
problem.
Guilty, yes.
Yeah, I'm like, what am
That's
I?
a crazy. Yeah.
What am
Go
I
on.
doing? Like, I'm just sitting in my room and I'm like playing with sounds.
Yeah.
It's been like 8 hours, haven't talked to anyone, but it's like so fun. Don't like, it's
It is,
so
yeah.
cool to
You get
just
lost
like,
in it. For
The
sure.
worst is you spend those 6 hours and you don't commit to anything you make in those 6 hours. That's when it really just
and you
like
don't come out of it with anything sometimes, and you're
yeah,
like,
that's when it
damn.
really hurts and it sucks.
Well, that's what I mean by measuring the growth. It's like you could spend like years making music and not know if you really got better, or you might think you got better, but is it good enough to put out? And if you put it out, is it good enough to grow? You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, that's crazy that you guys feel that because you guys make good music.
I think a lot of people make good music. That's like hardly one piece of the puzzle.
I mean, then there's doing it and then there's doing it again and then like doing it again with some purpose. The first time you do it is genuinely an experiment. It's like completely unencumbered. The second time you have to do it, I mean, I'm sure this guy can tell you, is like, I did it once. Like, what am I doing with the second one?
Now what?
Am I just like, is it just a repeat or am I spending some time changing,
Yeah.
like trying things? Like, I don't know.
And there isn't a return. Like you said, the
Oh,
products
yeah.
are transactional, right?
I made 75 cents this
The
year.
return is obvious. Yeah, it's
I
3 cents on
was
stream.
like,
Yeah,
God
exactly.
damn. Crazy,
So-
bro.
It's
Yeah.
a whole world of things that are. It's hard for me to measure and like grasp, and it's hard to like invest more time into something. Especially, I don't feel like I'm that good at it. So, you know, it's just like, you know, let me like bet on another skill set of mine
Yeah.
that I can do.
It's very rational of you.
Yeah.
Trying to be, I'm an emotional thinker, as most artists are probably.
Yeah. What about you, Chloe? What's your one thing, or what's something you tried that you eventually moved on from? I feel like you probably tried something.
I think it was probably photography. Like the way that I got into styling was I was running like people's Instagram accounts, like doing content before content was like as like accessible as it is right now and as popular as it is now. And then out of necessity, like I was helping run someone's clothing brand, and it's like I'm the producer, I'm the photographer, I'm the stylist, I'm the makeup artist. And so I tried everything and I just wasn't good at it. I think it's quite technical. And yeah, I was just like, this is not it for me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What was that?
This was like 2019.
So we would have.
think.
Well, what years in the 20? It's 2025 right now.
Ago.
Yeah.
6 years ago. When did we
Whoa.
meet?
You and I?
No.
We
When did we
met-
shoot Concord? 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. That's crazy.
3 years ago?
maybe
Something like that.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Not a
Something
full
like
three. Not a
that.
full three. It was like kind of in the summer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
directionally
Yeah.
3,
Concord came out in November 2022.
2. Yeah.
So it would have been around that
Wow.
You guys were my first video.
Really?
Yeah.
time. Really? So
Damn.
you guys were our first video.
That did a
too.
great job. Put me in lady pants.
I did.
I'm so surprised they fit. I'm so much bigger
Yeah,
now
you
than I
were
was at the
busting out
time.
of those.
Holy crap.
It was all white too. so
Yeah.
it was
I was like, you're wearing
I
all
was
white,
really hoping
fitted
the camera
up.
wasn't picking up the crevices and
No,
stuff.
you look thick.
Yeah.
You look thick in those.
Yeah.
You look real thick.
That
Bro, I was
BBL.
like 4 sizes
Yeah,
too small.
thank
Just
you.
like make it work. Go. Funny thing is too,
so
on set, it's like, especially when we're doing something so ad hoc, it's so frantic and everyone has to do everything. So I'm like flying the guitars back in these like pants that are 3 sizes too
Oh, yeah.
small
Yeah,
from
yeah.
a car that's like 600 meters away.
The fact it didn't rip, and I feel like
Yeah.
you bought those clothes and you had to return them after, right?
Oh,
you were like,
definitely. I definitely was like cleaning them. Like, yeah, these are going back. And, like, yeah.
it's crazy
There's
stains,
shelves.
Dude.
some crazy stains. On
I
those
was
pants.
so sore for the next like 3 days after shooting.
From carrying the guitar?
No, just
Everything?
the entire day was just
Yeah,
so
that was a
taxing.
taxing day for sure.
Yeah, that
Just
was
running around the entire
I was really
day.
ambitious to try to do like
5 music videos in one day.
pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
right? It was kind of
That was a
dumb.
lot.
But yeah, it worked out. It was cool.
You know, it was a learning experience for all of us, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It was cool because it felt like we were all kind of like trying something for the first time a little bit.
I've worked with most of the people on that team again already.
Yeah, they're all around still, right? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was Lebo on there.
Lebo was there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, he was our PA
Yvonne,
that day. Him and
Andre.
James.
Oh, have you worked with him again after?
Yeah. On a Liam shoot.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was
Nice.
Modeling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Is everyone still around?
Crazy. Andre did Consume. You did Consume.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Hallie is like doing it like really well on IG.
Yeah,
As like
just crushing the
yeah,
stuff.
visual artist, which is crazy. Who else? James.
I mean, we're talking about it like it was like 10 years ago.
It feels like
it
it,
does
man.
feel like
It does feel
was.
like it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We all experienced a lot from that.
What do you feel like has changed the most since that project?
About yourselves?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this guy's dialed now. You're like done school nearly too.
I'm almost done
Yeah,
school.
so you're gonna be into the real world real soon.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Don't be.
Honestly,
I think we feel the same way that like school is low key like a distraction from all this stuff that we're doing. Like it's hard to be truly like in a learning environment and dedicated to just like trying things and like things failing and whatever. It's like
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, honestly, you're way more focused than I was like coming out of school. So
yeah.
I hope it goes better
I'm
for you.
so excited for school to be done.
I get it. There's like this flailing couple of years. It feels like where you get out and now you have all this time, so you flail for a couple of years. You're like just trying to go in as hard and as fast as possible, and you just realize there's a lot of wasted motion after a while.
Right after school?
Yeah, we should take a bit of a breath after school and
Yeah, yeah.
then started not long, like a couple weeks.
Oh, I'm gonna take a 6-month hiatus.
Yeah, you gotta
after
do something.
school.
We were right. I left right in the middle of COVID's, or like, yeah, basically right in the middle of COVID's. I came out of school and I started work like a week later.
Oh God,
Wait, you were still in school during COVID?
I finished right as COVID hit.
you only had a week and then you started. That's also blessed too. Like
Yeah,
you got a
that's-
job right away.
I had it lined up like a year before, but yeah, the next year and a half was crazy. And then we came out of it, and then before I knew it, it was like kind of skipped a couple years. It felt like. So I don't know.
How many years after school did we do Concord? Like when did we meet you after school?
Did I move to Toronto at that point? I forget. I don't even remember. Oh yeah, I think I
I
would
don't
have.
know.
I don't know either.
I wasn't in Toronto anymore at that point.
Concord?
I think I had just left Toronto, yeah. When we shot
Yeah,
Concord.
that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's
No,
all
it's
a
bad.
blur.
It's all a blur.
Yeah, it's
all
like, it is a
blur.
blur.
Those pieces are all very interchangeable at this point. There's a huge stretch of time. So what did you guys do right after Concord? What was like the next project you did? Do you remember?
It's a blur.
Moving forward.
Yeah, what did we do
Did
after
you guys
that?
know what you wanted to do after Concord? Because I feel like you guys that was a project where everyone was kind of doing everything. Like, did you come out of that being like, yes, I know I want to style, and yes, I know I want to make clothes and sell products?
I'm trying to think. I think I always knew it was styling for me. I'm like, this is how I can see myself useful.
Even before that,
Yeah.
you knew.
Yeah, I think it just amped up from there. Like I started to do commercial stuff. Actually, was it Pouvava? Is that the next thing we did? No. That was maybe the next big thing.
What's the next big one?
That was like a 4-day production that we did, also with Mooks.
A 4-day production.
It was.
Damn.
Was it
Yeah,
3 or 4 days?
production. And I did like 2 months,
days.
a month and a half of pre-production because we built a spaceship.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was for the. Oh
Casual.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
the
yes.
spaceship.
Just for the
video.
16 thing?
Nonchalant.
Well, like it didn't like
Yes.
fly to
Yeah,
space.
yeah,
It wasn't functioning.
It didn't fly
Oh,
to
okay. I
space.
thought you were on
It was like the
Elon
Fast and
Musk
Furious
No,
car
no,
shit.
Yeah.
wooden, rickety.
yeah. Could maybe go on water.
But in low light, it looked like a spaceship.
Dang, that was 4
That's
days.
what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy.
Same with Elon Musk. bro.
4 days. And it was 4 like long
Yeah.
days back to back.
Wow.
Yeah.
I will say the Concord set really did make me believe in my art direction skills.
Yeah.
Like just putting together, just elevating the frame.
That muslin
Like-
projection thing was crazy.
It was.
The
You were up in a fucking tree.
yeah, the
hanging a
tree, the parachute.
Oh yeah.
Like, you were up there too, man. That was
Oh, yeah.
like 10 feet, probably more. You
Yeah,
were,
Yeah.
Mark was up
climbing
the
Like a
tree, and then
monkey.
Hallie was in the bush underneath, just like making the parachute look right.
Yeah, that was
it
so
made it,
fun.
It made it look 10 times better.
Yeah,
it looks
would
sick.
have been
Looks
able to
sick.
frame
Oh
it
my
that way if
God.
it wasn't for you.
The parachute.
That was really fun, actually.
The parachute
That was
was
probably
the-
one of the
That was, like-
highlights.
Yeah,
Being in the
that
tree.
was- that was?
Yeah.
You were one with nature.
I love being in trees. So I love climbing trees.
Any excuse. Yeah, I remember the day after. That parachute was huge. And there's probably there was so many different strings. And it was, because of the wind, it was so knotted up. And we had to bring it to a parking lot. And I had to untangle it. Probably took 2 hours
Dude,
just
Chloe
to
untangled it alone. I
and
gave
I was
up
like,
in like 20
don't
minutes.
help me. I'm like, let me just do this.
No
And
way.
it was like a
Just give me
puzzle.
space.
Yeah, I was like, just give me
was
space. Had to
crazy.
untie all the knots, but
And then we got to the place to return it, and he's like, "Oh, I could have just done it. It's okay.
yeah. And I was
I
like,
would have cried, bro. I actually would have cried right there.
It's okay." Chloe's heart was in it. And,
I was like
and it helped
decompressing
him a
from the
lot.
shoot.
Yeah,
during
yeah.
that.
I remember. I think almost everyone had long days after the Concord thing, except I guess us. Mooks and Ray, I
yeah,
think,
true.
were also spending hours on like the VFX part of the edit, and then the rest of the edit is a whole different story. This was a grind.
It always is.
But it came out, which is huge.
Hey, it ended up looking really good.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holds up.
Glover's project. So
The,
let's talk about these gloves.
Oh yes,
Gialoc.
Gialoc.
Can I open it? On
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Let's open it.
Open on cam.
Unboxing. This is the first unboxing video.
ASMR video. I'll do it to your mic.
It's very slick. It's more like
My hands are
dehydrated.
too moist to even like.
That's all right. It's like dehydrated food packaging. It's quiet.
This is meant to be in space.
It looks like Spy Kids gear. You remember?
I love
I'm
Spy
really
Kids.
bad
Remember when
at
the
this.
Spy
That
Kids
was-
stuff came
I'm not
out?
making this look as
Spy
sexy.
Kids, Shark Boy, Lava Girl, huge reference points.
I
Like,
know.
like
yeah.
mind altering
Yeah, yeah.
movies.
Yeah, like
The
it's fresh
food
deck
packs
of
in the safe house.
Exactly, like a fresh deck of cards. It comes wrinkled. Because pretty wrinkled. Yeah. So it's made out of wool and cashmere. So it'll freeform to you.
Yeah. I don't even iron these out.
No, you
Your
probably
sweaty hands will
shouldn't.
do it, bro.
What about this patch right here?
So
Tell me about that.
Oh, I saw you cutting those on your.
yeah, I laser cut a bunch of leather scraps, and then laser etched it as well. And then I used rivets to attach it. That was mainly because I didn't want to sew the thing on, but it ended up.
Do you do 2 fingers and 2 fingers?
Yeah, two fingers.
Yeah.
You're
Or can I like? No, it's
no,
Two
no.
fingers.
It's meant for 2 fingers, 2
Designed
fingers.
this way.
But there's a thumb hoodie if you want to use your phone.
Oh.
You can peel that back. Yeah, and it's a little
Hoodie?
access. A little hoodie.
Thumb hoodie.
The hoodie? Hoodie's a weird word.
It's a
Hoodie?
hoodie. Got that booty.
So tell us about these gloves, man. What was the inception of this idea?
Oh my god. So Chloe was actually sleeping right behind me, and I couldn't go to sleep because I just felt like I needed to make something or launch something like clothing related. I just felt it bubbling for like the first 6 months of last year. I just need to tap back into this fashion.
Yeah.
And but I was really broke. I just came back from Nepal. So my thought process was I need to make a product that's eye-catching but doesn't require a lot of material. And so I thought gloves would be like the least amount of material I could use. It's the most uncreative thing. It's like it actually came from a pretty rational place.
Why? I mean, it doesn't have to be irrational to be creative. What are you talking about?
Yeah, anyway, I guess you're right. So then I was looking at my hands. I was like, what can I do with a glove? And I was like, and I just kind of like this with my hand. And I was like, oh my god. And I was like, oh, that's it. So I just put my hand on a piece of paper, traced it out, and
No, that's even sicker. Honestly, good for you for just getting something done. Like that's even
Yeah.
That's a huge win on its own.
For sure.
I think we spent a lot of time conceptualizing and getting halfway there and being like,
Yeah.
it's kind of nice just to see things through sometimes and keep it moving.
yeah. And like, yeah, the first one was ass. Like I sewed it with some scrap like jersey knit that I had laying around from another project. It's too small. It was really wonky. So then I just kind of just like dialed the pattern in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I just really liked the silhouette, and then I just quadrupled down on it. We went to a rag house,
Okay, that was fun.
and went through like thousands of pounds of fabric, just to find knitwear that could be turned into gloves. We got a whole bag. Thank you to Amar, who so graciously blessed us with this fabric for like really cheap prices. Turned all that into 50 gloves, and we had our first pop-up that you were at.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Sick.
used all the profits from that to develop like a ready-made product, because those were
That's
all sewn.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
see.
those are
So I was sewing knitwear together, knit on knit.
So they were all the fabric was a little bit different then, right?
All the fabric was different.
Yeah.
Everything was kind of weird. They're all different, and there was like a seam going down like all the fingers.
Oh, like open stitch, basically. Or like you could see the stitch.
You could just see the seam. There's just like a seam. There's
There's
like a
just a
line
seam.
because there's
Oh,
two
I
pieces
see.
of
Yeah.
fabric sewn together and then flipped inside out.
Okay, I got you.
Right?
These
So
have no seam.
these have no seams because
These
like
are-
I wanted. Yeah, thanks. Clay.
These are knitted, so
They're knitted, so
no seam.
Yeah.
It's all
Okay.
one
I really
piece.
wanted to like get it to the next level from like to a ready-made product.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess it's honestly, it's one of the few like ready-made products I've seen in the last couple
Around,
years.
yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen many.
what do
Have
you mean?
have
There's a
seen
lot
many?
of ready-made.
Oh no, you're totally right. Yeah. Hanging.
Yeah, ready to wear. Like
Yeah, but I guess
even like bigger people expect.
I guess like shapes. Is that true?
This was a weird one.
do you mean by that?
This was a funny one. I think so. During the pop-up process, like I knew I was planning to do the ready-made, so I was on the back end messaging manufacturers like 4 a.m. because it's weird times. You know how it is. And so many people were just like, "But why?"
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. What do you mean?
I was like, "Oh, can I make this? Like, why are there 3 fingers?"
The manufacturer.
Yeah, the manufacturer's like, "Why?"
Why?
Is this a mistake?
Yeah, like, are you sure?
Yeah.
It was so funny.
It's not your job to question my designs.
I like
you
that
know?
angle. They look cool like that. No, like when you hook the fingers. Yeah, they look cool like that. That's
This?
cool.
The claw.
Yeah, the
They look-
claw's
they look-
sick. I like the claw.
Straight up. I'm a Cancer too, so this is perfect.
Oh, me too.
Oh shit, Cancer.
What does that have to do with being a Cancer?
Actually,
Crab, bro.
you gotta hit one of
Crabs are
these.
pincers, dude. They got twos.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh. You just put me onto the Cancer shit.
This is a crab, bro.
Huh?
That's a crab. Next
Yeah,
is
but
crab
this-
gloves.
Yeah, but you know, this is like Mr. Krabs. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh
he's got,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yes.
But he's also like this, bro.
Kind of looks like Lego hands to me, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle hands.
Don't try me on SpongeBob.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to.
Oh, yo, you see that thing
Like the
Gurtesh, I
Mandela
sent you from
effect.
Gurtesh?
What?
The never mind. I'll say it straight.
Well, now you gotta.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. I thought it was funny. You won't think it's funny.
Yeah, we have a different sense of humor.
Yeah. I have one. That's the difference.
What? So how do you go from stitching these gloves together from fabric that you found to manufacturing a wool cashmere blend with no seam? You know what I mean?
and-
You know what I mean?
and
Like,
a
how do you
hoodie.
take that? That's a leap.
So
Right?
usually
I just kept messaging people on Alibaba.
Yeah.
No, literally, it'll be like 4 a.m. and I'm like, who are you texting? Like, wait, he's literally like the light.
I'm like,
Yeah. We did the same thing for the bags. It was
Yeah.
about as much back and forth, and it was so much simpler, but it still took so much back and forth.
so much back and forth. It's such a weird product too. So like,
Yeah, I
like
can't
they're
even
just
imagine,
questioning me
dude.
half the time, and I'm like, just trust me,
Please.
it's good. Like, just please make it.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you were making the original, I guess like patterns for them, how did you land on like, okay, this is the right pattern that I want to manufacture? I don't know how many you made.
Because I made 50,
Like-
so I made 55 actually.
Oh, okay.
And at the pop-up, as people were trying it on, what happened?
I lost the.
Yeah, it's gone.
Oh no, it's
Cool.
okay.
I'll just,
okay.
you know,
We'll fish it out
move
after.
your hand out of the way, and then I'll just mask that out and put the original shot back in. It'll look like it's there the whole time.
That's crazy.
We'll make it work.
Wizard.
During the pop-up, as everyone was trying it on, that was honestly just a lot of product testing for me. Like, I was just observing everyone and kind of seeing how it fit,
Yeah.
which materials kind of sewn together nicer, how it stretched. And so from that, I was able to determine that this silhouette that I had was pretty good. And then I adjusted some of the heights of the fingers, kind of averaging out all the people that tried it on, their heights and stuff like
Oh.
that.
It's crazy how
Interesting, yeah.
like well it fits. Pretty much.
Pretty much everyone, yeah. It's like
Yeah,
Apple headphones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That like test everyone's ear shape.
I
Kind of
mean,
the same thing, right?
I tried my best. I'm not Apple, but yeah, I tried to make
Steve
it
Jobs thing
as
going on.
inclusive as
Jim Apple.
possible.
Yeah.
The Steve Jobs of three-fingered gloves.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's where we're gonna
There's a
start
lot of
crossing.
samples too.
Revolutionary.
A lot of samples,
You
and
got some
I
samples shipped.
yeah, that's
Oh, yeah?
true too. I got like samples from 3 different manufacturers before I landed on this one. So the first one was just like terrible,
Yeah.
and then the third, this was the second one that came in, and I was like, okay, I think this might be it. But there's a couple measurements that were off. Like the 30 was a little bit too long, so like it would just kind of be loose at the tip. And then the width of the wrist, I was just like, it should be tighter. And then the third sample, I didn't end up actually paying for load. I was just like, they're like, okay, they sent me pictures. Like, that's not even it. Like, I don't want to waste another
Yeah.
$200 on the sample.
Is that how much a sample was for one?
Yeah, because they have to like hook up a whole new like pattern on their machines.
Gotcha.
Because they're like digital knit machines, so
Okay.
that you can like input like the digital like amount of knits or
The gauge.
the gauge of the thing.
Yeah.
But so it's like a really not difficult, but I would say it's a tedious process for them to like do a
For
new
sure.
design.
Yeah.
So for them to set it up and do it, and it's still not looking right, I was like, I'm so sorry, I just can't afford your mistake right now.
Oh no.
For real.
But then did you go ahead and use the same manufacturer, or did you like?
No, I use this one. This manufacturer is
different
different.
one.
The third
Yeah.
one was the one.
The
we
third
did.
one.
Oh, I see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
You went through different manufacturers.
I went
Okay.
I went through 3 different routes to just try to like stress test it because I knew
Yeah.
there would be like one that would be bad or two.
Yeah.
So I figured like be proactive and just buy in advance. But the first one was so bad. Like they stitched it together. Like the same way I made it.
Yeah, like they sewed two
Oh.
pieces.
They
so
sewed it
wasn't
together, and the
seamless.
thumb hoodie they just cut a hole and burned the seams. Like
Yeah, someone in
Yeah.
their garage, like, yeah, I
Yeah.
can do this.
yeah, I was like, what the hell is this? I paid like a bill 50 for it.
God.
Plus customs and tariffs.
And
I was like, God,
they got you.
got my ass.
How
man.
did you handle the seams? This one.
There's no seams.
There's no seams.
Yeah, no, but how do you do that from?
It's just one knit, right?
It's just one knit. It's a circular knit machine, so
It
it's
works from
two.
the top to bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there is technically a few seams, but the manufacturing did really well. They hand knit, closed it.
Oh, okay.
I there's a word for it. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm not. That's why I got outsourced.
Yeah,
On the knit
yeah,
side,
yeah.
I'm not like a technical
Fair enough.
knit
Yeah.
I
person.
mean, you get the rough done, and then you're.
I'm sure there's like a specific machine that they probably have to use.
Who knows?
Who knows? But I hear that finding a manufacturer is like the hardest part. So like now you feel like you have a manufacturer that you like trust and you can go
I
back
mean,
to.
yeah, for the most part.
Probably still shop around.
Shop
for
around a
this.
little bit. Maybe ask some homies who have clothing brands and stuff like that.
It depends what the product is too. Like if it's
Yeah,
a different
true.
product, you might go with a different manufacturer.
Like if I'm doing a hat, I probably won't call these guys again.
Fair. Yeah.
Sometime in the
Any
next
idea
couple
what
of
the next
years.
product is gonna be?
2 years.
Foreshadowing. Year and a half actually is what you said. I'll hold you to it.
Year and a half for the hat. I'm dropping new gloves in like 9 months.
Okay.
Yeah, leather, and possibly
Same
a brush.
shape?
Same
Yeah.
shape. but leather.
Now you're actually going into a bit of a high fashion.
Trying to go into like hit the semi-luxury. Like I still want to be accessible for like
For sure.
my peers or like the people who have influenced my fashion sense, like or
People who want to support you.
yeah, but also still hit like more luxury. But I'm not a huge fan of like luxury because I feel like the up sell on it is just
For sure.
ridiculously high.
Yeah. There's always a market for.
And it's just like,
brand.
it's just like that consumption sort of thing. I didn't explain that properly.
That's fine.
It's
understood.
Leather and mohair.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
What you
Leather and mohair.
Brush mohair.
Brush mohair, so you look like the Grinch.
Oh, so
Yeah.
coming out the bottom of the glove, kind of.
It'll be so
The
mohair.
whole-
Oh yeah, I want one mohair and one leather. So I want to
so
drop
a
it.
mismatch.
I want 2 different SKUs.
Oh,
different-
interesting. Okay.
I'm trying to expand the universe of gloves.
Got you.
Multiverse glove.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Multiverse.
Yeah, Chloe and I were talking. I think it's important for me to just. I think for a long time I was always scared to like hop outside the box, or sorry, not be boxed into one thing.
Yeah.
That's why I think I was like always like, oh, I'm gonna do art direction, production,
Oh yeah.
directing. I was trying to like I don't want to be labeled or anything.
Yeah.
But I think now I'm really coming to a place where I'm coming to terms with. I just want to be known as the glove guy for the first 2 years, and then
Sure.
from there, like that's how I can build trust.
Yeah.
Because
You
I'm
need to get some
consistent.
footing somewhere.
Yeah, I
for
can't just
sure.
keep doing everything, and then people. It'd be so hard to define
That makes sense.
and like recognize me as a artist if
Yeah.
if I'm all over the place,
For sure.
just for the sake to prove that I'm not blocked.
Yeah.
But if I know deep down I'm not, then I can label myself glove guy and just be known as that for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's
completely.
dope to have like a sort of like a signature product, right?
Yeah,
It makes your design language really easy to understand.
exactly. It's
Right?
the
It's like we know what you're about, kind of.
and there's so much like things going on now, like to have a very clear, distinct language or design
Yeah.
language or like a signature is pretty important. So if I can just solidify that signature, I can definitely expand the universe moving forward. Like definitely want to do full clothing. But to do that too, like learning like, yo, these cost so much money for the little amount of fabric I thought it would be. You know, it's like crazy. So if I want to do like a full like jacket or pants, I can only imagine that sample is like $500.
Yeah, for sure. Especially the quality of fabrics that you want to use.
Yeah,
It's
so-
it could easily run up.
So I gotta
And the
just
time too of perfecting the craft. Like
yeah.
that's probably like a jacket sample is gonna be way more than a glove sample.
Yeah, and if you want to do more than one,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, local. I'm gonna try to manufacture local as well for those ones. Lower MOQs, and I could be in the studios with the people making it, the seamstresses. And we have a lot of good resources here. I know a couple designers in Toronto that have been going that route, and they say it works really well because they could just be there, and if there's a problem with it, they just get FaceTime. Oh no, actually cut it right there, or you know. Versus this, I'm kind of in the dark half the time.
yeah, you gotta wait for the.
I'm just waiting for them, like, hey, any updates? Ghosted, and then like 4 days later, they'll send you a picture and like the fingers cut off. You're like,
It's like online dating at this point. You're just,
yeah, just like anxious
Literally.
and stressed all the time.
Yeah. Liam was saying he found his seamstress on Kijiji like years ago,
Way
and they've just
back.
had a relationship since,
yeah.
and they've just been working
that?
together. Liam France.
Oh.
Yeah.
Might be the move.
yeah,
Yeah.
Find a seamstress that like you really like, and then just like cook up.
Yeah.
It's a good option for sure. And it sounds like he can get stuff made really fast. He's like, yeah, he was wearing like his own boxers. Like, it was like,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, to that
That's
level.
hard.
Yeah. So, but I like this approach. I see a lot of brands doing this now, where they're sort of just dropping like one product at a time instead of like doing like a collection or whatever the case may be. Is that intentional, or is that literally just because you could only kind of afford to do one thing at a time? That's how you want to.
Oh, it's because they can only afford.
Yeah.
I think every designer's
So
dream.
hard to present an entire collection
Yeah.
right away. So much surface area.
I think it began financially, like from a financial place, but it's become something that I think would actually help me like solidify again, like you said, like some sort of identity or a logo.
Yeah.
That's not the logo.
There might
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like an iteration of this in a different collection at some point in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, or integration of this like silhouette on different parts of the body.
Yeah. The glove hat.
Hint, hint.
Club hat.
That's
Sick.
4 years from now.
Yeah. That's on the roadmap.
Yeah, it's on the
No,
road.
you're gonna be 60 by the time you drop a full collection, and then by then you're gonna be making music.
Yeah.
So you're like,
Well, you're gonna be busy as hell for the next little bit. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, once summer rolls around though, like I'm kind of chilling.
Oh,
Like,
I'm so excited for summer.
yeah, I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Ugh,
Could come sooner.
my
soon enough.
goodness.
I know.
no one's buying these gloves in the summer. I mean, hopefully they are.
I mean,
but-
they're cute
You
as
gotta
a
reach out,
styling
what,
piece.
55,
I wear this to the
right?
beach. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
the
Stuff.
beach.
Yeah, with just the gloves though.
Craziest timeline.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Chloe, what's next for you after school's over? Are you gonna go straight to workforce if you can, or are you gonna?
I think I am.
Yeah.
Just because I'm also working. I'm gonna be in grad X this year, which is just like our little thesis.
Yeah, you said it was in
exhibition.
You said little
March?
thesis.
Little thesis. No, I
That's
think
underselling it.
Okay.
Did you say it was March?
Yo, Grad
in
X
May.
is the biggest
Grad X is
like
pretty crazy.
market in like art showcase in Ontario.
Calm little grad X.
Like 40,000 people a day show up
It's
to this
true.
thing.
And it's amazing. Like there are so many crazy artists that come out of OCAD. Like I love grad X because you just get to see what everyone's doing. It's like every floor is a different department. So there's like the advertising floor, the textile floor, and you could just see what everyone's been working on like for the past
It's all out there.
however many years.
Do
But
they open that to public?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a public thing. They like they advertise it like in the subways and
I've
like
never been, but we should definitely go this year.
yeah, you should check it out.
100% down.
Oh, you'll
Yeah.
meet so many cool creatives.
Definitely.
Do you already know what you're gonna be showcasing?
Yes.
Can you give it away, or is that
Yeah,
just
no,
a
no.
secret?
I'll talk about it. It was interesting because our first semester we were like just doing research, and then second semester, which I'm in now, is like execution of the actual idea. And first semester I was in a group, and we were just looking at like the infrastructure at OCAD and what it was like lacking. But that was like a whole can of worms. Honestly, we realized like essentially what we wanted to do is change the culture of OCAD, which is like a hard thing to do. So we kind of gave up on that, and we went our separate ways. And I decided that instead of splitting my time like working on thesis and starting my business, which I've been trying to do for literally the past 4 years, I'm just gonna make the launch of my business my thesis, because that gives me like a hard deadline. Similar to you guys, like I conceptualize a lot, like I think so much and like do nothing. So by launching my business, it's like kind of forcing me to do it and have it I'm treating GradX like a brand activation
Sure.
for the thing.
And your business is like styling as a service? Is that what you're thinking?
No, so I'm gonna be doing garment rentals
Oh, okay.
for
yeah.
creatives, so stylists, photographers, whoever needs like artists. I just think it's a combination of like everything I've experienced as a stylist in these past like 4 years. It's just hard. Like there's not a lot of infrastructure here. I think in places like New York, it's like renting and pulling is like the norm, but there's not really that many places to rent and pull from. Like not businesses. Like you can pull from designers specifically, and like sure certain stores, but there's still like it's different every store that you go to. And no store is dedicated to like just pulling. They're just trying to sell their stuff. Like if you know. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. And I want it to not just be like the garments themselves, but I want to like just share resources for stylists.
Amazing.
But yeah.
But does that mean that now you need to source everything to rent out?
Well, I've been doing it for the past 4
Oh,
years.
you're
Like
already
I've been
building
collecting.
it up. Yeah.
I've been collecting. I'm going to be making stuff too. Because yeah.
It's a cool way to get your stuff out there.
Yeah. It's just a different game than like, I feel like what he's doing to create something to sell and like produce is kind of different than like a one-off piece that's strictly just for like an editorial styling.
Yeah. I guess you get some liberties in how you manufacture and piece together.
Definitely.
True. Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably way more fun
Yeah.
than this path.
You think so? Why?
I think so, because you can have a little more fun with it. You're locked into design, like there's MOQ. Now you're pushing. Like
You don't have to be as like you
numbers.
don't have to be as practical.
You don't have to be
I
as
guess.
practical, I don't think.
You also
But
don't have to commit to an aesthetic, because I feel like I could just play like make all different
Very true.
kinds of stuff.
I mean, they're both different, but I think I'm really excited to see that come to life.
Yeah.
So you must be collecting pieces though, all shapes, sizes, fabrics, gender, because obviously you're not dressing yourself, you're dressing other people, right? So I can only imagine how many pieces that is.
We use
Yeah.
warehousing.
It's all at my mom's place. Like my parents' place. I'm in the
mom.
basement, and like it started off with like, okay, a bag, a bin, 2 bins,
Yeah.
racks now, and she's like, oh, like you're kind of like taking over the whole basement. I'm like, yeah. But the thing is too, she'll like wear some of the stuff, so it's like and
So your
she's
mom's dripped out every day. Okay.
Actually, she's like my forever inspo. Like she's way cooler than me, and she has like I sometimes will like pull stuff from her closet as well. So she's also a collector. So we kind of like she understands how it goes. Mm-hmm.
That's very dope.
I mean, you're gonna need a massive
How are you
closet
gonna
one
like
day.
catalog that all?
I guess you just want to shoot day and shoot it all, right?
I think it's like 3-4 shoot days.
Yeah.
How long do you think it'd take? Purely in hours, like.
I don't know. I'm kind of delusional. He tells me I am because I'm like, oh yeah, GradX is in May, and I'm like, I'm gonna make this many pieces. I'm gonna shoot all this. I'm gonna do a campaign for this. And he's like, you need to like 10x, like however long you think it's gonna take. Like it's gonna take way more time than that. But I mean, I'm open to just starting, even if it's not everything at one time and dropping all at the same time. I'm just in the phase where like I just need to share something. I've been like holding on to it for a long time.
That initial release is gonna be very gratifying.
Cathartic.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of get it off your chest.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a name for the business yet?
Close.
Ooh.
I should have guessed it was gonna be a fun.
Yeah, I know. It's a game.
It's understandable.
It's close. Yeah.
Straightforward.
That's really good.
Thanks.
How do you like? What's your process for sourcing pieces, right? Because I mean, I think as a stylist, you're probably acquiring things to your taste, right? But you're probably dressing people that also don't align with your taste. So like, how do you? What's your process?
I think it depends because sometimes I'll just be like thrifting and I'll find crazy pieces and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need this one day. I don't know what for, but
Someone's gonna need it.
I'm gonna need this for something. And then some of the pieces is like, okay, from shoots, if I can't return this or if I have to buy something, I'll end up keeping those things. So it's really a mix. And I think to service stylists is I want to have a wide range, like curated to my taste, but like, yeah, all different kinds of stuff. So
When you talk about like your process from like on a collection basis, I feel like that also helps compartmentalize your
I think I'm
like the
still
range a little bit, organize it.
I'm still figuring it out because thus far I've just been getting anything that looks cool. I'm getting it. And I recently just went through everything and then tried to like organize them into like, okay, what makes sense together? Like, and I have like 5 different collections of stuff. So I think what I need to do is like build the collections and buy for the collection, add it to this one rather than just like buying randomly and like.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like different aesthetics. Is that how you're organizing?
Yeah,
it?
kind of different aesthetics.
Different cores per se.
Different
Cores. Yeah. It's a very TikTok methodology.
Yeah. It is. Well, it is. One of them is like Fruits Meg, Japanese core. Another one is like Carrie Bradshaw, New York, Sex and the City core.
Got it.
Yeah, I guess that
Pinterest boards.
makes sense.
It makes like the like hundreds of products probably more digestible. It's like, oh, okay, if I want this vibe.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's what I wish I had as a stylist. Like sometimes if I'm like looking on Essence, I'm like, okay, I just want to type in cowboy and like everything cowboy, just like, but it's not really organized that way. So I think I'm going to kind of catalog it like a library kind of.
Yeah. It's gonna be a big project. That's exciting.
huge project.
Yeah.
Not to like overwhelm you,
But it's gonna be like one that like really feeds people. I think, like especially stylists and people in the creative industry. I think that's really needed. Probably more than like another clothing company.
no, you guys are both feeding the streets. Don't worry.
Feeding the streets.
Yeah.
What would you do without gloves?
Yeah, everyone would be cold.
Exactly. Close is a really dope name, but how'd you come up with Gialoc? I mean, obviously your name is Lock, but like
Lock is Lock. Gia is so in Vietnamese. I'm Viet and Chinese.
Okay.
Culturally, every generation has a name. My generational name is, or it's Ga.
Okay.
So it's pronounced Gialoc.
Oh, okay. So I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time.
But it's okay because I was born here and I also thought it was Gia for a long time.
I always say
And I kind of like the feminine masculine balance of Gialoc.
So
like
do you prefer people to call it Gialoc as opposed to Gialoc?
I think everyone just calls it Gialoc.
Okay.
But
You're just letting it let
You just don't want to be responsible for
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
I also probably am not even pronouncing my own like Chinese or Vietnamese name properly, so I have no basis to correct people on it. But yeah, I felt like it was important for me to not just be Lock, and I felt like kind of comforted by having my generational name there. It made me feel less like alone in it. I felt kind of supported by like being with my family in that sense. And yeah.
And it's cool because it's like generational name, personal name, and then last name. So it's like all his cousins that were the
Well, actually,
same
it's
generation.
last name's first
Oh, sorry. Last name first.
in Chinese.
I see.
But yeah, I'm last. It's like a good reminder that people first, family first. Then
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You ever do something and then
Probably
just give it a lot of like? Was that all anticipated, or are you giving it a lot of meaning afterwards too?
I get a bit of both. Like Gialoc, I knew I wanted to do like again, like I jumped around doing so many different mediums and stuff like that, just kind of exploring. And even making clothes or products has been something I've done in the past, but I'm like coming back to it again. And so I felt like my name would just be a good way to commit to it. Because I used to run a clothing company called Love People Hate Society, but like now it feels a little too angsty. Or that was like back in high school.
Yeah.
So I just felt
social club.
yeah,
Come
like it
on,
felt a little
dude.
bit like I can't really run with that long term.
No, it's a good call.
But my
That's
name
sick
is something
change.
I don't think I can.
Pretty timeless.
Yeah, it's pretty timeless, and it's cool too because I never liked my name Gialoc. I always went by the name Ethan. That's like my Canadian
What?
first name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
know,
Locke-
it's hard. It's
Yeah,
Oh,
Locke.
I could never.
For some reason, I was like, Ethan was your like Govey, and you were going by Locke because Locke sounds cooler.
I mean, that's why I go by Locke because Ethan just sounds so, you know. It's cool, but Locke is way harder.
Locke is way better. Yeah.
G-Lock, bro.
G-Lock, yeah.
Too hard.
That's too crazy.
G-Lock.
Wait, did you know my name was Ethan? Like my first name?
I did not know that at all. I always just knew you as Locke.
Yeah, I made the transition like maybe like 3 years ago.
Oh, right before I met you, probably.
Yeah, I was just like, I should probably just go by Locke now. Because it's getting kind of confusing. People are like, Ethan, Locke?
There was also 2 Ethans in the friend group, so then
Yes.
it was like just call him Locke. It's easier.
I love
They
it.
off the other Ethan.
So I was like, you know what? Let me just change my name instead. Or just start labeling myself different.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's where...
and now it's your brand. Yeah, that's dope.
That's it. I feel like it'd be such a huge thing to pick a brand name.
I know. I would be so scared to be like, this is what it's gonna be.
Honestly, even when we were picking
Boys Alone?
even
Yeah,
when we were
how'd you
picking
choose
that,
Boys
dude,
Alone?
I didn't fight it at all. Nobody
Accidentally.
suggested it. I was just like, I don't even want to get involved in this. Like, let's just, yeah, it's fine, good enough. Let's go.
Yeah, it kind of just like accidentally we're like, okay, let's run with it.
And even the logo, I think we had one iteration. We didn't do anything beyond
Yeah.
that.
The logo looks good, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it works. And like, it was meant to be the only reason we jumped on it so quickly is because we weren't sure what we were going to do. So the asterisk was space to just like swap it for whatever we happen to be doing at the time. And that's it.
But even then, I'm not like I'm not married to it. Like I'd be
Yeah, it's-
okay with changing Boys Alone, changing the logo, changing, just rebranding entirely. I think it's okay to like to kill your ideas. Yeah,
Definitely. Things are iterative.
It's still so new.
for sure.
It's only like
yeah,
2
especially
years.
since it's so
We're
new.
only like 2 years in, for
Doesn't
real.
feel like it has a lot of like brand equity yet. So it's like, let's make something better. Yeah.
It's good to evolve. You can always evolve and like shift.
Yeah.
No problems in that.
I mean, you went with Gialoc instead of what was the last one called?
Love People Hate Society.
Yeah. See, I already
love
forgot
it.
it. See, that's why Gialoc infinitely better.
All right, so moonshot question. Resources relatively unlimited. You got staff. You're running like a fully staffed team now. What do you work on? It's the next project, both of you.
Unitarium.
But what
Yes.
would the outcome be?
This is like our big dream.
I don't want to put that. No, I'm saying like tomorrow you come out of OCAD and there's a
okay.
team waiting for you. You have resources and you're gonna put something out. What's it gonna be? Is it gonna be like?
Oh, you can go first. I might have a different answer.
Yeah, it would just be making more stuff to rent out to people. Like I think you said it earlier, like space, like you need space. If I could ideally have a space where I'm like making clothes,
Yeah,
that would be so fun.
that'd be sick.
That would be so fun.
Space would actually be great. That is a good answer. How about you?
I think I would want to do a show,
What kind of show?
like a fashion show,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a runway,
Like a proper full runway show.
proper full runway, crazy installation, immersive experience. And if I had the money and resources to like sit down and get to have my hands a part of the music side and like curate and like, or just be in the rooms while people are making music
You
and
want to create
creating
and
the
direct the
soundscape.
entire show,
Yeah.
top to bottom. Yeah.
But if I really had a lot of money, we had this idea of like this project called Unitarium, as you know. But I would want to do like a future fashion show where 4 different nations or brands would come together and showcase their work as like a peace treaty for surviving the cataclysm of the world ending. And it would be like this future concept where 4 different tribes come together and share their love for art and fashion and
Did you
music.
expect that answer?
Yeah, I did.
That's exactly what you were expecting.
I was gonna actually predict that answer. For sure. No, I did not expect that answer. Is that like hypothetically speaking, if the world ended, or if like?
No, he's working on it too.
Are you plotting world domination or? Like,
No. It's like I was watching this podcast with this
Was it Friends of Friends, Kyle Walford?
it's the most inspiring podcast. Yeah, to
What was the
tears.
podcast?
Life changing.
it's actually a Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I understand the hesitation now. Yeah.
I said podcast for a reason. But it was featuring this scientist whose name is Graham Hancock. He's like a
have you seen his documentary?
no. Is it bad?
No, it's not that it's bad. It's fun. It's just funny to like, because he's talking about things that he can't just like explicitly walk up and show. A lot of the documentary is him just standing there, and then them shooting him from a distance, like at a
my
cliff,
God.
or like standing on. I just imagine some dude standing on a sidewalk, and now he's standing in the field, and now he's standing on like a hill.
Oh, what?
That's
I have no context.
Yeah, go
What
ahead.
was the
Graham
Hand of
Hancock?
Gods? No, what was it?
Oh yes, something in the hands of
I
God.
listened to the book like years ago, because of Joe Rogan too. I'll admit it too. There, you're not alone on this one.
Oh, you watched that podcast too?
Yeah,
Bro,
I've
that
seen all of his
podcast changed my
episodes.
life.
Yeah.
Changed my life. That opened my eyes.
It's Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock.
Graham
And then
Hancock,
sometimes Graham Hancock shows up with this other dude.
The geologist.
Yeah.
Oh my
Big
god.
man.
Yeah, what's his name?
Oh,
I forgot his
Was
name.
Graham Hancock the UFO guy?
No, that's Paul something.
Oh, okay, then I haven't seen that one.
Paul something.
I would say he's like a deep humanitarian. He calls himself like a scientific researcher, or he's a scientific synthesizer. He doesn't do much research, but what he does
Vibes, guys. He goes places and he just like senses.
Yeah.
he doesn't do his own research. What he does, he takes like published papers
Yeah.
and kind of like forms
Yeah.
a through line between.
Like literary
It's kind of an
review.
important thing to
Okay.
do.
Yeah, it is an important task. It sounds funny when you're like scientist, but he doesn't do his own research.
yeah.
But he like synthesizes these papers, and
That
he's
is research.
Yeah, that is.
but not like field research.
It's just
Yeah, sure.
secondary
He's not a field
research.
researcher.
For
Oh yeah,
sure.
secondary.
It's like a literary review.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's probably the
Yeah.
technical way. I didn't know the word.
So anyways, so this
How do
guy.
you get clout off of that though? That's crazy.
How do you get clout off
You get
that?
clout off of that, literally.
You make a book.
No,
you just write a book.
You write books. Everyone hates you, and then you come out and you're like, "Yo, I'm ostracized. No one will
Easy.
listen to me."
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Anyways, broader point. You brought him up because he.
He talked about how geological evidence pointed to a huge cataclysm wiping out humanity around 12,600 years ago.
Like an earlier ice age.
In the one of the first, like the earlier ice age,
Yeah.
and how there was like bone structures and and villages, I guess, settlements that carbon date like hundreds and thousands of years, 200,000 years. But the history that we kind of know today is like everyone stemmed from Africa and kind of like went outwards. And he was saying that there's a lot of evidence that proves that humans have been around a lot longer. And then so he kind of explains this idea that a cataclysm, like a meteor hit like the earth and basically flooded everything, and the fires kind of covered the ozone layer, creating an ice age because there's no sun coming. And I got really inspired because I was sitting in my bed on my laptop watching a YouTube video.
I feel like you get a lot of your inspiration near your bed.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I'm alive today, and I'm able to watch this because of the few humans that survived that cataclysm and really fought through that. And like the human resilience it took for the human beings to just come out the other side and want to reproduce and want to continue to push the human life forward. Like that to me was really inspiring. I'm really inspired by like the human spirit. So I think that was a really cool moment for me that sunk in, because he talked about how some indigenous cultures had like face tattoos kind of marking where the water lines were of like how high they would have to just like
Oh, shit.
kind of like walk around the earth because of like all the floodings and stuff like that. And to remember their ancestors, they like mark those lines. I don't know how accurate that is. That's what he said. That's what I remember.
So you're getting face tattoos is what you're saying.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You need to get
It's
that
coming.
waterline tie?
That waterline tie? That's probably appropriation though.
I don't know. Still?
Maybe.
Still.
I guess this is, I don't know.
Yeah, we're swinging back the other way now. So
Yeah,
Fine.
exactly.
pendulum swinging, man.
It's time. Yeah, it's
So
time.
actually, that reminds me. There's someone posted this like Steve Jobs thing, which again is I'm only bringing this up because he said Joe Rogan, so now everything is fair game. So this is like an email he sent to himself. It was just.
I saw that. That was. I love that
That
though.
was sick. That reminded me of this too. It's it's good to remember that you're like you're a product of other people's work.
Read it out. Read it out. It's actually really. It's
It's
beautiful.
so long, and I'm gonna sound
So
so,
what is
stupid.
it? You know that Steve Jobs sent to himself?
Yeah.
It's Thursday, September 2nd, 2010, 11 p.m. Late night thoughts, bro. This guy was zooted.
For
Started typing.
With the turtleneck on.
I grow a
Tight.
little of the food I eat, and of the little I do grow, I do not breed or perfect the seeds already. So
You didn't
stupid.
write this shit. Yeah, right.
I do not make any of my own clothing. I speak a language I did not invent or refine. I did not discover the mathematics I use. I'm protected by the freedoms and laws I did not conceive or legislate and do not enforce or adjudicate. I'm moved by music I did not create. When I needed medical attention, I was helpless to survive myself. I did not invent the transistor, the microprocessor, programming, or most of the technology I work with. I love and admire my species, living and dead, and I am totally dependent on them for my life and well-being. But yeah, I think it was directionally the same sentiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It
it makes
was
a lot of
like-
sense.
A lot
We're
has come
s-
before us.
Yeah.
And we're so relying on each other. And I think that's where the idea of Unitarian came from. It's like
Okay.
at the core of it, we need each other. And anything that we're trying to prove, like, as individuals, is to prove to other human beings.
Yeah.
It's like all in relation to others, humans. The symbol of the Ouroboros, like the snake eating itself, kind of comes to mind at that too. It's like we're within a closed loop as a species.
Yeah.
And the only ones who'll be sad if we're gone is us. But it's like us.
Yeah. I was.
You have something to say?
No, I was just gonna give you some context 'cause I feel like I know Rahul knows what Unitarian is. I don't know how much we've talked to you.
No,
What-
it's my first time hearing about it. That's
Oh,
why.
my bad, my bad.
basically-
Kinda
but that is good.
That's what it is.
Like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
well, I mean,
That was the origin story.
Just say,
Yeah.
the origin story. But yeah, this idea of Unitarian, this is kind of like how we met, and well, not how we met, but how we also got closer. Is he asked me to help him like develop what this idea of Unitarian is, and it's
So
basically
this has been an idea that's been like brewing for a while.
and it's basically just heavy on the lore side, but it's just envisioning like what does a better future look like and how do we get there now. And yeah, it entails like everything, like technology wise, clothing wise, like, and this idea that like in a future where we maybe go through like the world goes through a rebirth or like some kind of cataclysm, after that humanity reaches a point where they're thriving enough that there's like a cultural global symposium called Unitarium.
Okay.
And they just celebrate the peace and they share with each other like from different cultures. And yeah, we were just thinking about everything to do with that world.
What are they wearing?
Like, what are they wearing? What does music sound like
Yeah.
if a cataclysm happens and the huge migration of Japanese people go to Brazil, for example? Like, how does that fusion kind of work?
Interesting.
And
Pretty cool. It'd be just a fun like thought exercise to just run
sure.
that through like a generative model or something and see what it thinks.
honestly, I was thinking about that in class today because I was in class generating a bunch of
Yeah.
homework and
Like samurais in Brazil or something.
yeah, and I was like, oh, when we first started this concept, AI wasn't really like accessible.
Available. Yeah.
And now that it is, running all these ideas and like these
It's a lot more
these
realistic.
thought exercises
Yeah.
through it, it was just like it could be so cool.
Quick.
So I might just go back and revisit
Yeah.
the lore and like build it
That'd be
out.
sick.
I've seen a lot of
You
ideas
could create
like
a
that.
lot of reference material to start from.
Yeah.
Sure. There's a brand. I can't remember what they're called, and they're called a little more dystopian. But what they do is they'll still sew like a pouch of seeds into a jacket. So the idea is that like you know what I'm trying to.
I don't remember the brand, but I've seen that.
Yeah. The idea being that you can just plant your own
Yeah.
whatever vegetation if you need it.
Yeah.
So I think that's very interesting. But I've also seen a lot of interesting uses of like AI and technology and stuff like that. Do you think you're gonna like? Do you guys see yourself using those new technologies in your work? Or
Probably.
are you sort of like anti AI, anti?
I use AI every day.
AI is a tool. I
Yeah, I
think.
use it pretty often.
Yeah,
I use it
I
way more
use
than I
it every
thought I
day, too.
would.
I mean, I guess it depends how you use it, but
Yeah.
I sometimes I talk to ChatGPT like a therapist.
Damn.
We were driving around New
You
York.
crying
Yeah,
and
me and Gutej and Moose just were probing ChatGPT for like an hour because we had nothing to do. It was like a 10-hour drive.
I don't even know what you guys were asking.
It's just stupid stuff, man. We were like, yo, say this, now say it in an Indian accent. Make it more Indian.
Oh, I talk about my feelings with it.
Nice. Does it rock with you or no?
Yo, it helps a lot actually. It just helps me feel seen sometimes. I'm like alone. I'm just like, yo, I feel really overwhelmed with the amount I have on my plate. I want to do XYZ, but I'm currently doing ABC. And then I was like, oh, this is try to delegate like this, and I kind of organize my
Gives you good advice.
good advice. And I'm just like, oh, thanks, man.
I feel like my AI would bully me to be like, stop
Yeah,
being
yeah.
a pussy. Like, and I'm like, fuck.
No,
You're
it's programmed to not do that.
Yeah, like, fair enough.
Yeah. It's super.
Sure. No, my AI is a little different.
Warning: please be very nice to me. I'm sensitive,
Yeah,
and then
I'm vulnerable right now.
I'm vulnerable right now, and then go in and share your feelings.
While it does what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I was talking to Norby this on the way here. I was actually, I've been writing a record about like just, what was the idea again? I kind of forget how I've explained it to you, but it's around like knowing too much and not being able to do anything because you know too much. Needing real hard resets and, like the edge before you hit like an existential crisis where you can either sit on it or you go over the edge and you're like, damn, there's no point to anything. A lot of this comes from, I do like work a corporate job. There's a lot of importance assigned to things without a lot of thought because you can't afford to, I guess, in those settings. But I think it's a good analogy for how you assign importance or how we've collectively assigned importance to things kind of out of a lack of time or ability to sit down and critically think about things. We can't do it as like a group of people, right? Like you and I can sit down, conceptualize these ideas, present them, which is why it's like even with technically infinite resources, realizing Unitarium feels like a pipe dream, but being able to present the idea of it is very possible. I'm curious to see, when it does happen eventually, how you kind of help people bridge that gap. Pushing people towards an existential understanding is really hard.
May 2025.
You think that quick?
Yeah.
Damn.
I think we've
This guy's gonna
learned.
drop the second pair of gloves and everyone's heads are just gonna roll. Is that what's gonna happen?
Well, gloves. I'm not gonna drop anything in the summer, so my summer's pretty freed up.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna be working on back end manufacturing stuff, but on the forefront, like doing like a community run event to kind of honor, like Chloe really wants to like push the short film that we made together out.
There's so much content.
There's so much video.
This is a project that's like 2 years in the work. Like the short film, that was our way of approaching it because there's different ways. Like Unitarian Manifest is like, okay, do like an actual gathering. Like let's just like transport people into the future, have an actual festival. There's gathering, and then there's like sharing resources and like this way of thinking. Like pushing people to that edge, just getting people to think about it. And then like storytelling. So like we thought like, short film, like books, stories, whatever. So we worked on a short film for that as our first thing to like launch and bring Unitarium to life. But it's taking. I'm embracing.
We ran out of money.
We ran out of money,
Yeah, I mean,
but it's not just
I
that.
ran out last year too. We were just trying a couple things. It was crazy.
Yeah, ran out.
I don't think it's just money though. I think it's like such a big idea.
Yeah,
And it's so vast that we really just have to like scale down, focus on one thing that we want to say, and then go from there.
But we're gonna take the film that we have shot, break it out to vignettes, and kind of screen a deconstructed film, and just have it be a little bit more of an immersive experience. And then create a space in which we can talk about the concepts and the philosophies of what this speculative future may look like, and just have that conversation be started. And I think we'll gain a lot of insight from our community of people who are yearning for change in how we live a day to day, how we can become a little bit more self-sufficient, how we can be more aligned with our bodies, with the earth, and
With each other.
And I think it'll just be a really beautiful space that we can launch pad to the next idea for
Is that
Unitarian.
what you're saying you're doing in May?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Okay.
So that's super achievable. Like we have the footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
I
I
think.
like that you guys take this approach. I feel like maybe this is just like a generational thing, but you guys kind of like test the waters with an idea and see how people react, and then you have a clear path on like what you need to produce, instead of kind of just like working in a vacuum and being like, this is it.
Do you feel like that's how you work?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You've been kind of, maybe not as much recently, but I remember you used to post a lot of like you making music reels and stuff.
I hate doing that, and I still hate doing that. And I feel like even when I ask people for feedback on things, it's already like 90% done. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like my process is really, really insulated, but I don't think that's how creative thinking is moving. Even like new artists I see on TikTok, they'll tease a new song every 2 weeks, and then maybe they don't drop any of those songs, but they're just like testing the waters. And so I'd like to shift my thinking towards that. I just don't know how.
We'll see. Something
Yeah.
changed this year.
I think those are two different things. Because
No,
I think
no,
you're trying to move away from perfectionism.
No,
I think
I don't think it's perfectionism in this case.
I
It's-
think I'm scared of sharing an idea that feels incomplete.
I'm exactly the same way.
I don't think we
But
ever get anything perfect.
that's what.
I think that like
It's not about perfect. It's about a complete idea essentially. Yeah.
I think that working alongside
That's a
Lost.
synonym.
No, it's not.
This is what I'm saying. Working alongside him has shifted that a lot, because I was super like that's why it's taken me literally 4 years to do anything with clothes. I'm like, unless I mastermind everything and everything rollout is perfect, like I'm not sharing it with anyone. I'm not talking about it. I'm not doing anything. And then working with him, he just goes, like he just executes and does it. Sometimes
terrible.
no, in a good way. In a good way.
We all need that. Like, I need to talk to you more often because I need people
Yeah.
to be like, yo, fucking just drop that shit. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Drop it. just drop it.
Doesn't mean I will.
You don't tell him to just drop it?
I'm constantly, bro. You know why Nebo came out? Because Jimmy and I both got on his ass and we're just like, yo,
Yeah, let's just
doesn't
do the
have to
video.
be the biggest thing. It was fun. Video looked good. It's out.
Yeah. Not everything has to be so heavy.
Yeah.
Everything feels so.
Yeah. The sentiment with that record too was exactly that. It's like, yo, and this doesn't exactly represent everything I want to do, but you know, whatever. I need to put something out just to get something out.
I understand. I feel very similar to you guys. Like, other than this glove run, like I haven't probably posted on Instagram in like a year.
This guy's sitting on so much stuff.
I have all of these things and I just don't post it because I'm like, it's not exactly how I want it to be presented. But I think what's more important, at least what I'm realizing now, is we're posting on this Gialoc account like every other day now.
Yeah.
It's getting way easier as the days go. Like the first time I posted on that, it took me 4 hours to write a caption. Like, what if I put a space between the emoji and the period? Oh, that's not right.
sure.
You know, it's like one of those little things. I'm like, what am I doing?
Doesn't
Well, I
really
guess there's a
matter.
difference between presenting your brand and presenting your creative. Like it's if you can make that distinction clear to people, I think it's really liberating. I haven't done it, mind you, but it'd be sick to make something, put it out, and someone's just like, it's cool, it's objectively cool, and I'm okay associating it with myself, but I don't have to treat it like it's
But then you
hyper curated.
you feel like you have to
sport.
separate yourself from the brand, which is easier to do. I feel like in
Can
music.
you present it as an experiment, maybe, or like
Well, I feel like I feel like in music, it's like you are the brand.
exactly?
So it's hard to make that
Yeah.
distinction.
Yeah, how
whereas,
can you
like,
separate it? Music is so
Yeah, it is. It is.
tied to your like.
exactly right?
like-
So it's a little bit harder to feel like I'm presenting something versus like this is me. Like get to know me.
I guess that's why
That's-
artists
yeah.
have like different monikers, and they'll just like
Yeah. And when I started, I
I
really
really
wanted
wanted
to, for the same reason that you went with like Gialoc, I wanted it to feel like something bigger than me and like separate
man.
myself from the brand.
We really fought it for a while. We had so many names. We workshopped like a dozen names, and nothing felt right. But for that reason,
It's still on the table for you though. If you want to, when you start putting music out,
I don't think so, man. I tried.
still
I think
want
it's
it to
gonna be
be
my name.
close to you, yeah?
I don't know how else to do it. It just feels weird if it's not the name.
that's
I'm
why
not like a-
that's why music sucks, man, and that's
Yeah,
why
music sucks.
What? Music is so beautiful.
It sucks.
it sucks as a pursuit. I think
I find
But
it so
is-
easy to put other things out. Yeah, I'm so okay sharing other things, but
I mean, it's so vulnerable.
It's very vulnerable.
yeah.
Is there things that you feel more precious over than others? Like, do you feel more precious over the Gialoc gloves than maybe like the short film or this this other big idea that you guys are working on?
Or the other way around?
I don't really feel precious about. Okay, no, I do feel precious about Unitarian, but I feel like when it comes to Unitarian, it's like it's bigger than us. Like I think what we're trying to talk about, like it's not really so much about us. It's just like we're trying to create space and share it with people.
Yeah, to add to that, Unitarian doesn't really feel precious to me. It feels like a service that I because the idea came and like I received it. It's my duty to like bring this energy to the world, and I knew I could only do that with the help of like Chloe, and so
For sure.
and like other people, to be honest.
Yeah,
like as
so
many,
many
it's such
other
a huge
people.
idea and concept.
Sounds like it takes a village.
But-
It's more like a platform for these conversations
It's
and
like a s-
ideas to
yeah.
stick to.
It's a safe space for people to talk about like new ideas and ways of being that aren't necessarily the cultural norm at the moment, but I can feel it bubbling in a lot of people. Like there's a yearning for a change and how we exist on this planet.
Yeah, something's
And-
got to happen anyways. I mean, it's clearly at the limit.
Oh yeah, we're at the threshold.
there's been weird vibes in the air lately.
I don't want it to happen, but we're low-key bound for a cataclysm.
Or a big correction. Something's going to correct. I don't know what or how, but
I feel that.
I mean, in our like lore, we don't necessarily say rebirth as like destruction and death. It just is like a huge shift.
It's a reset.
And yeah,
It's a
you know?
destruction and death.
That's what Locke wants.
I don't want that. In the
That's what the
lo-
AI wants.
in the lo- no, we didn't actually use AI until we haven't used AI
yeah,
yet.
it's just been radicalized.
Now's the time, Locke. Press the button. Kill
No,
everyone.
it was a solar flare.
Solar flares would be so quick. We'd be wiped off the face of the earth.
The thing with solar flares is like it doesn't necessarily have to kill us. It would EMP basically all our technology, and we wouldn't have access to global
Oh, I'm thinking
communication.
of a gamma ray. Sorry, not solar flares.
And then that would force us to be a little more grounded in our
Yeah,
immediate communities. And then what does that look like in how we interact with our neighbors? And then how does that then spawn out to our daily activities? So I didn't want destruction. I could have went earthquake or tornado.
Okay, yeah, you could go with anything.
I could go with anything.
I'm
And
not
this-
like an advocate of population control by any means. It's like
It's a crazy opener.
no, I mean,
Yeah. Like, where's this going?
dude, that's where everything converges ultimately. If we're resource strapped, like population control is ultimately the only thing that's going to make sense. Either that, or we have to somehow expand what resources we can use.
Population is sort of naturally controlling
Let
itself.
me get to the end of my point because
Mhm.
otherwise
Alright,
I just said I'm a fan of population.
yeah.
No, but
Like I'm not for ethnic cleansing, but Trump Gaza is pretty nice.
oh my god. Oh god, we're cutting that out.
no.
Did you see the like? Actually,
Dude.
sorry, get back to your point.
The song?
Your mom showed
The
me.
Instagram, the AI.
Yeah.
My mom showed me.
Your mom showed you?
Yeah, go.
His
go.
mom showed me. Okay,
Go, go.
sorry.
Oh,
Finish your point.
the gist of it is just like at some point if you look at, I don't know how to say this. I'm trying to say this without being like fancy about it. All I'm really trying to say is that if we are in a race of self-preservation and we're pointed towards growth at all costs, which we are, it's just a fact. At some point, something's going to give. Either we're going to run out of resources that we can naturally use, convert, or like materialize, or we're going to have to control population at some point. And now we have an extreme amount of competing interests across the globe that aren't transparent either. So it feels like the only thing that would work is, just a common enemy or like a common cataclysm or something.
Something common that can kind of bind us and unite.
Either that or wipe memories completely. I think we'd have to wipe the entire planet's memories at once.
I don't know. I don't know how much you guys identify with being Canadian, but I feel like even amongst this like Trump tariff thing, like I've noticed Canadian pride kind of excel.
I don't know how real it is.
Probably the most it's ever been. No, it's real. It's real. It's a real thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You're vibing it out too.
No, I almost bought like a Canada jersey and started.
That's crazy.
I don't know. But I like when I think
But that's a common enemy that we're not. That is us. Like it's a weird.
yeah,
It's
it is a weird
Yeah.
circular
Yeah,
problem.
I know. But it's just interesting to see how quickly like culture shifts.
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, it's the same reason we have hyperscaling. It's the same reason all private equity and capital is obsessed with growth, and like no one's really there for anything else. Even if you want to be, someone else is just going to come in and snatch the bag when you're busy doing it the right way or in the interest of something else. I feel like we need to wipe higher slate clean. That includes all of us.
I
And
don't
just
know.
see
I
what
don't know if
happens.
I see it happening.
I think a lot of what we're talking about with Unitarian is decolonization. Like, I think we're still in the phase where in the first year, we were just doing a lot of research, like talking to like architects or like people in like environmental science and like just a lot of like different people and learning more about it. But I think that like decolonization can look different in like different spaces, but it would just take a complete dismantling of like the systems that we live in right now. And I think that's kind of like what you guys are talking about, like just whatever's going on now, completely wiping it. It's not this.
Yeah. So dismantling plus like completely resetting the score. Like,
Yeah.
no grudges. You can't have any grudges left on the planet. Like you can't have any of that.
As much as like the idea of Unitarian is wiping the score, I also think like it can happen through a shift in culture. Like I think it's just a cultural shift that needs to happen where we get on the same page. Because like we don't always have, like we have so many things that we don't actually need. This growth mindset of continuously expanding as a we don't need all that. And like we're in an indigenous studies class, indigenous brilliance, and there's the idea of like reciprocity with the earth is a huge one that kind of like naturally stemmed into Unitarian. But as we've been Chloe's been kind of studying for the last couple of years, but this is my first time in like an indigenous studies class. I'm like really realizing how much parallels like intuitively what I felt like I wanted from society or from like Unitarian, like indigenous people have had that figured out for a while, and that's why I thought it was so cool that
I turned his mic up like crazy. I've been getting this whole time.
my bad
No, it's all good.
yeah, that's why I don't make music.
No, that's fair.
Finish the thought.
People have had that for a while.
We've been figured it out. We just forgot. I think there just needs to be a collective remembering of like what our values are, a shift in like what we value as people, because there's so many like things, ads blasting at us like, oh, you need to value this is what's important. We're all searching for the wrong things, and I think like if we really sit with ourselves, and Norby, you said we should meditate before this. I think that was like the small things like that, like we sit with ourselves for a moment and we kind of like recalibrate what we really need. We don't need much.
I don't disagree at all, but we're also
It's hard to do that.
I mean, no, it's not
hard.
that. We're also
gotta
just
survive.
we're not representative of the entire population of this planet. Like the discrepancy is so massive. That way of operating and relying on that specific vector for resolving things is only available to so many people. I'm not saying it's a minority or majority, but it's like we're gonna need like a solution that works for everyone. So I do like the idea of like
But then again,
global
that might also be like a colonial way of thinking. Like, oh, I need to find the solution for everybody. I think
might
it's just
look
like
different
it might look
everywhere.
I
different
think you
for
start where you are.
depending.
Sure.
Yeah, you start like
Sure.
locally, and I think giving people in local communities the space to do that as well and be self-actualized, for lack of a better word, or
Sovereign.
I think it'd be a much better world for sure.
I feel like
No doubt.
those like having smaller, tight knit communities might be the move. Like living in a city where we're 3 million, 4 million deep
Toronto.
in Toronto, like it's just ridiculous. Like, but our land in Canada, like, well, I guess our land, not really our land, but the land of Canada is massive. Like, if we were to just diversify where we live, we'd actually have a lot of space for us to grow our own foods and do other things. And we also have the internet, so we can still be in communication. So, like, I think that could be a possible solution too. I was watching a TED Talk about that. This guy was saying like how important it is for younger generations to branch out from major cities and try to like be more influential within
You almost
smaller
have to, like-
municipalities, because you just have more influence there, more job opportunities, but you're also building and making a real change in these places that need the fresh ideas and the fresh kind of like life that young people bring to a town.
It's kind of a chicken and egg problem, right? Because I think young people are going where there's like
You have
infrastructure.
to like
and
work
young people
against
can't
your
really
immediate
build.
interests
Yeah.
in the short term or midterm
Yeah.
or maybe even your lifetime. It's a very weird brain puzzle thing to unjumble. I do think about it a lot though, so it's I
It's an interesting
agree
thought, yeah. But I do feel like you kind of mold to where you live as opposed to like inform where you live.
Yeah. We don't act in our
Unfortunately.
best interests all the time either. We're very flawed.
We're very flawed.
flawed species.
I think we're also. Well, I don't think we're born flawed. I think we're taught. It's like I think it's a taught like from external environment. I think by nature. Maybe this is me being super idealistic, but I think as a baby, like you really operate from like the lens of love and like wanting to share with. You're not sharing, but
Maybe. I think you operate out of necessity pretty much your entire life until you get overstimmed and then can't make sense of. Yeah, I feel so weirdly overstimmed most of the time. I take like 3 5-minute naps a day now just to like bring my head and heart rate back into something that makes sense. Because otherwise, it's just like you're getting worked up over nothing. I'm mopping the floor, I'm vacuuming. What? Cleaning up after Caitlin, putting on public record.
Yeah.
And 4 cats.
I just think there's just like, yeah, it's everything's fast. There's a lot going on. We're consuming a lot of information. I think it's normal to feel that way.
It's not a bad thing. I'm saying it's more of an equalizer in my head than anything. I don't really put too much more importance on one job versus another. It's just like you make your decisions and contend with what happens out of it, but ultimately it's not like I don't think there are many jobs that are actually meaningful or many functions. We employ people to give people purpose and kind of let them live, but it's also all very much self-aggrandizing. And then the momentum is just very hard to beat. It's like, if I really wanted to, I could leave. I could go live in Belmont and
pull up.
Yeah, and I could get out of the, well, actually that still wouldn't be far enough to get out of the pricing crisis, but like, I could run away from it if I really wanted to, but like.
But then what?
Yeah, but then what?
how is he living in Belmont?
Yeah, how much time do we have left on this episode?
I have probably like 40 minutes on the card, but like, to become the longest episode we've ever done.
Yeah,
we can.
We'll wrap it in 15. The short answer is it sucks.
Where's Belmont?
It's
okay.
southeast. So it's like an hour and 45 minutes from here.
From here?
Probably like an hour and a half from where we are right now. So it's not that far, but it's a population of 2,000. So it's basically like one stoplight, like one Tim Hortons. It's like one diner. It's what you would imagine a very, very small Canadian town being. And we just moved there because we wanted to buy something and we could afford it there. And we were like, damn, we didn't really think this through, did we? So it's
there's days where it sounds like the perfect place to be, and then there's days where I'm like, I have to be here, but
how slow do you want your life to feel?
Slow.
Yeah.
There's days that I really want to slow it down, and I wish something would enforce it, but then most of the time probably not.
But it's like that every single day.
I get it.
Yeah.
Do you work remotely?
Yeah. Well, I have to be in the city like maybe like twice a month. Yeah. So I come pretty often, but like I wish I could come more often. Like you really start to feel stir crazy, and like you'd think that living in a place like that there would be like more community, but you actually just feel more isolated. Yeah. So it's like I was saying, the sort of chicken and egg problem. It's like for Belmont to be somewhere exciting for someone young to live and for someone young to want to like go and pursue and build, like that infrastructure would need to be there. Like I don't think I could make Belmont something cool and exciting on my own, right? Unless I bring community, it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would need to be the
I would need to be the catalyst, and that catalyst would need to be so strong that it attracts more people.
Yeah.
Right? So that's hard to do. If I open the fucking sickest store you've ever seen in your life, it's like a pop-up, you can do whatever you want. I don't think people would travel to Belmont to see.
I think you need a crazy community center type beat, or like a residency.
I mean, that's low-key big dream for Unitarium. Like, if we could start an art residency, like just a public space where you could just come, you do retreats here. And the only place we're going to be able to afford it is like
in
the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
That's definitely an end game for
out.
sure.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a space where people can come for like a week and we can work on something and then they can bounce.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But
I mean, that's how you'd build community.
But that's how it would start.
Yeah.
That's how people start traveling there.
Becomes a little hub.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think something I think about often is like the lack of, and this is, I think, in generally like a North American problem is like the lack of like institution. You know what I mean? Like if you want to go to a really good fashion school, you're going to like CCSM or CSM, Central St. Lawrence in London, or like if you want to be a chef, like there's probably like the best chef school probably in like France, or like I feel like there's a lack of like institution in Canada that's just like really strict and really coveted, and it has a high standard. I think OCAD's a pretty good example for design, but like
That's what I thought until we went there.
Oh, brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Always how it feels.
They're
I felt
so
the same
soft
about
on
Edge
us.
too, dude.
They're soft on
They're
you?
so. I mean, that's
soft.
why my first like thesis thing was like, what's the infrastructure here? Because there's none. Like, I don't know. There's not a lot of making. They definitely teach us how to think and how to approach. But if you're someone who already is like thinking and you have critical thinking, I mean,
God.
You need someone to
Yeah.
like poke and prod to kind of
Yeah.
like push you to the
like
next
I
level.
haven't had a hard crit my whole 4 years where someone like a prof has never like kicked my work on the floor and been like, oh, like be better. So
Really?
yeah, I don't hold OCAD as
But maybe
like
it's because
a,
you're just that dope that the
I don't think so.
Nah.
But thanks.
Because there's some work that's not dope. And they're
Okay.
like, oh, that's very interesting.
Do you find there's like that peer-to-peer competition?
There's probably like in my whole program, I think there's like 1 or 2 people that I think we're gonna get jobs, and
Wow.
I feel like they're peers to me.
Wow.
Hmm.
Believing that in?
I think because the profs aren't as strict, it doesn't feel competitive.
It's not a it's not a
So it's just
competitive
kinda
environment.
Nice. Like it's nice in a way where people are always like encouraging each other, but it's also, you know, what is steel sharpens steel. Like if there's none of that happening, then it's not really inspiring in many ways. It feels like a safe space where you can fail, but then people just get comfortable making mid projects.
I will say that like outside of my program, I think there's really cool people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, in your program, there's cool people. There's like sprinkles. There's like a few good ones, a few good seeds in there, and
Yeah, it's tough because in the real world, there isn't really that level of institution, right? Like your incentive structure is like making money,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're learning and you're competing against peers, I feel like, yeah, you need that competition, you need that friction to like really
Mhm.
elevate.
I mean, yeah, but like outside of school, outside of OCAD, I feel like there are some really crazy creatives
oh yeah, absolutely.
that's what feels inspiring.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I'm pretty competitive in that sense. Even if it's not outward or, aggressive, I'm definitely competitive. Like I'm competitive in the sense that like these are sick and they make me want to do
Yeah. Now like
kind
we
of
gotta make
competitive. Yeah.
we gotta make some gloves.
Oh, well, we're starting with some shirts.
Direct competition.
Starting with some
gloves?
shorts shortly.
Yeah,
And then underwear.
for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
By the way, these start to just feel like natural. And I imagine this is the tabbies are too. They just start to feel like, yeah, this feels like makes sense. My hand should be moving this
I'm
way.
glad. I'm glad.
Yeah.
They look nice on your hands too. Like you feel them in nice.
I've been told that my hands are really nice.
You do have nice hands. Yeah.
Yeah, never worked a day in his life, bro. That's what it
This
is.
guy works on his
Piano
computer.
hands,
Piano hands.
for sure.
Twinkle fingers. Twinkle fingers? What is it?
Twinkle
Twinkle toes? Oh, it's twinkle toes.
Toes.
Okay, is there anything that you guys want to plug or talk
whatever you're
about
up to.
in the last closing statement?
Get some gloves.
Get some gloves. We'll fill out the link. Sure.
I don't have gloves on. I should though. This just peace be with you.
Mhm.
Is it? Live long and prosper.
I don't know that guy.
That's true. He just known fingers.
Cool. Anything else you guys want to plug? Your socials?
I just you should put it up on the screen, right? Or,
We'll throw them up.
Yeah,
but
we could throw them up. Just
When
like-
you
3
drop the
seconds.
dates one more time for when stuff's coming out. Roughly. You said 9 months for the next drop for.
oh yeah, I'll probably be dropping in October. The new line of gloves, October 2025, and then we'll be doing Unitarium sometime around May.
Probs.
Probably around May.
We'll see.
Might have to push to June, as it happens. But yeah, aiming for the stars and we'll land on the moon. So
I guess the moon is closer than the stars. Right?
moon is closer, right? Yeah. Okay. I thought I got the thing wrong, and I'd be
I
embarrassed.
think that's the right saying though.
Hmm.
Is it actually saying? It's true for the stars. I've heard. Land on the moon. I didn't hear. I never heard that.
Well, shit, I'd rather land on the moon than just keep going in deep space.
That's true. I'd rather land.
Joe Rogan podcast is about you guys.
All day. Joe Rogan, all day. All right, sick, folks.
All right.
Yo, wait.
Brother.
That's all right.
Thank you guys.
Oh, wait.
Thank
do
you guys.
Want to plug something?
Oh yeah,
You're graduating soon? Oh, yeah. Come to
Yeah,
CADX.
I guess.
GradX.
Come to GradX.
come to GradX.
I gave it like 3 extra names there. Grad X May
7th.
7th.
And look out for
exciting.
clothes.
Close.
Close.
CHLOES.
I'm gonna be on the 5th floor.
5th floor.
CHLOS.
Rollout is about to be crazy for
CHLOS.
clothes.
Yeah, because my mom calls
I'm
me
excited.
Clo.
Nice. If you got a logo or something, send it our way too. We'll throw up on
All right.
screens.
Rahul and Norby, thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thanks for
For
doing
the-
it. It's fun. We're
It was a
waiting
good
for this one.
conversation.
Yeah.
We're trying so hard to not have a conversation before we started too.
Yeah, I know.
Because we're just like, because it's been a while since we actually talked. So it was like,
Yeah.
we were like going like, wait, actually.
And I think this episode could be another like hour and a half if we wanted it to
No,
be.
literally, I'm like, yeah.
Well, we're gonna order so much.
I have
Well,
so
we're
much
gonna order
to say.
food. We can keep talking.
Exactly.
We don't.
We'll do another one when stuff's out and we put out some more work. We got
Oh,
some
yeah.
stuff coming this year too. Cool. Yeah. So. No sure. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. And that's a wrap. Ooh, we did it. Sick.
Yeah, this was fun, guys.
Yeah,
so fun.
It's chill, right? This one was really.